Stu, define the word extreme. What does it say?
Extreme, reaching a high or the highest degree, furthest from the center or a given point. There you go.
All right. Give me extremist.
Extremist. A person who holds extreme or fanatical political or religious views, especially one who resorts to or advocates an extreme action.
Okay, hang on. Extreme political or religious views.
Mm-hmm. Especially one who resorts to or advocates extreme action.
Do they have any examples on that? I'd like to know what extreme action is. Is that terrorist? Look up the word terrorist. What is terrorist?
Terrorist. A person who uses unlawful violence and intimidation, especially against civilians, in the pursuit of political aims.
Unlawful violence
and intimidation is the way they phrase it.
Intimidation.
Especially against civilians in the pursuit of political aims.
Okay. Here's why I want to bring these up. And I want you to remember, if you believe this, I do. Words matter. If you can change people's words and their language, you can change everything. That's why they have replaced so much of our language, and we all are just saying it. First, let me give you the lay of the land, what you're facing. The last time America saw a drop in household income as large as we did in this last year, Barack Obama was president. The change, according to the Census Bureau, the change in real median household income, it fell 2.3%. That's the worst decline since 2010. That means what you actually are bringing home. You know, they say, oh, jobs, we're creating all new great union jobs and pays going up. But what you're actually taking home is down by 2.3. And that's before taxes. If you calculate the taxes and the subsidies handed out, so not only what they take, but what they give, household income fell 8.8%. 8.8. Real median earnings of all workers, which includes part-time and full-time workers, declined 2.2. Median earners of those who worked full-time fell 1.3. Now, they're wondering why Biden's numbers are so low. Like it's I don't know, like it's a Cheshire cat whose stripes are only appearing in a tree once in a while. It's really easy. People are getting poorer because inflation is eating away at your income. Family household income fell even more than the median, dropping 2.9%. Older Americans saw an income decline of 2.1, worse than the 1.4 decline for people under 65. So families and the elderly have suffered the most. Native-born incomes. You're born here in the United States, you fell 2.5%. But if you weren't born here in the United States, you edged up 0.2%. Region that was hit hardest? What a surprise. The Midwest. Incomes fell by a stunning 4.7%. In the Northeast, median households fell 3.8. In the West, 3.2. And in the South, income trickled down to by 0.1%. Why is that? Why is that? Why is the South doing so well? Weather? Maybe taxes? Government's kind of doing what's right for the people, maybe? Not so crazy all the time? Okay. Now I want to talk to you about extremists. I want to talk to you about extreme, extremist, and terrorists. The House Freedom Caucus and conservative groups held a press conference Tuesday opposing any deal to continue government spending at its current levels hours before the House reconvened after a week-long recess to tackle the task of keeping the government open past September 30th. The White House, eager to stave off a shutdown, has proposed a clean extension of the current spending levels. So you know the spending levels that we're spending right now this year, we were supposed to be $1 trillion over what we had. So we were going to add $1 trillion to the debt. But somehow or another, we spent an additional $1 trillion. So we are $2 trillion adding to the debt. That's the current spending. Do you find that reasonable? Let me take you back. Why is your income going down? Why are these things happening? Why is it that you are looking at the grocery store and you're looking at the price of eggs and milk and you're saying, what the? Now, gas, you can kind of understand because that goes up and down. But all of the stuff in the grocery store, how come the paper towels and the toilet paper are smaller? I mean, they're even cutting them now so they're not as wide. So it's not as big, but it's also not as wide. How come that's going down and yet the price is going up? How come I'm getting less for my dollars packaged? I'm not getting the same product I had, and I'm paying more money. Because your dollar isn't worth as much. That's why. When people talk about, you're going to understand hyperinflation, at some point, you're going to understand hyperinflation, and we don't want to learn that lesson. That's what Venezuela went through, and nobody wants to talk about this. Nobody wants to think about it. Oh, I know there's somebody in their car right now going, I don't want to think about that. You must think about this. You must. Because if you don't, it's guaranteed to happen. What causes that? Out of control spending. So the White House doesn't want a shutdown. But they'll just continue with a clean bill, exact same spending levels, well, with the addition of $40 billion in Ukrainian aid, some disaster relief, and some border funding, but other than that, it'll be clean. Okay? So you're $2 trillion in debt more this year, and we're another $2 trillion next year. All in 4 years. All in 2 years. The more money they spend, the higher the inflation, the less your dollar is worth. Now, in story after story, the Republicans who are standing up and saying, no more, we cannot continue this. We're not going to have a gun held to our head. We have time right now to work out a budget. But that's not what's happening. The budget is being made behind closed doors. And then what do those leaders, McConnell, Schumer, McCarthy, Jeffries, what do those leaders do? Those leaders who think they know better than everyone else that you elected, you sent them to Congress. They get the blame, but are they to blame on this? Because they don't have a choice. Now, they're called terrorists. They're called extremists. An extremist is the furthest from the center. How many people do you know that are actually fighting for no budget to actually, pencil put to paper and work this out? How many people do you know that are saying, pass it in the middle of the night and no one read it? Do you know anybody? Left or right? Do you know anyone? Because I don't. Do you know anybody who says we can continue, besides the current administration, we can spend like it's raining money. Just keep spending $2 trillion a year. It should be $3 trillion a year. Do you know anyone that thinks our current level of spending is good? I don't. Do you? If you do feel that way, I want to hear how you got there. I really do. I'm not going to make you feel stupid or anything else. I just want to know how you got to that thinking. And it would be refreshing to hear because I don't meet those people. I don't know who those people are. I think those people are the ones furthest from the center. And then what do? Well, they try to intimidate people. They are currently telling our Congress members that you elected to do this job. Those 4 people are telling the 431 exactly what they have to do. You have to pass this right now. This is coming in 2 weeks. You have to pass this right now. We've already worked it out. No amendments, no reading it. Just pass it right now. Or you're going to get the blame for the government shutting down. Now, you're on the road. You're going someplace important. You love your car. You got to get to the place. But your car starts to overheat. And your car blows a tire. 2 tires. Now, you could keep going, but you could blow the engine and you'll destroy the rims. So you won't have a lot left when you get there. Nobody wants to stop the car. Nobody wants to wait for the tow truck. Everybody wants to go to wherever it was you were going. Everybody. But who's the unreasonable one? The one that says, I don't see any problem. Keep going. Keep going. Or the rest of the family who's like, no, we're not going to have anything left, Dad. I mean, as much as I'd like a new car, can we afford a new car? No. Then maybe we should stop. Even the kids. No. Stop. Stop the car. This is dangerous, and it's going to put us in a very bad situation. And if we do it, we may never be able to make another trip. Who's the extremist here? I don't want to shut down the government, but quite honestly, if you want to save America, it is better for them to do absolutely nothing than put us another $2 trillion in debt. Remember, if I pay you, $1 a second, that's $31 million by the end of the year. And it only takes you to get to $1 trillion. If I pay you for every second of every day of every year, it only takes you 32 billion years. No, million years. 32 million years. I don't know. I'm thinking that maybe we shouldn't spend that money because I don't know how we're going to ever earn that money. And I'd like something left for my children.